So you want to start a tree company. Now why do you want to do that to yourself? I've been in the business for 40 years, never had to make a claim on my insurance for property damage or personal injury. By the grace of God, we have had some close calls. Everything about the tree business is dangerous. Okay, it's a dangerous business. But self-employment's got its advantages. You know, you want to take off for a week and go scuba diving, you do it. You want to, you know, schedule 3 days next week instead of working 6, you do that. You want to go home early, you go home early. You know, you don't have a boss lording over you because you're the boss. There's only really one major redeeming quality, though, for this particular business, and that's the money to be made in this business. There's a lot of money to be made in this business. But what I wanted to do here in this video is kind of give you an idea of the kind of money you can make in the tree business, so that you can, you know, seriously look at some jobs that I had going and see, okay, this is actually jobs that were done and the money made by the hour, so you can get a real firm, real life idea of the kind of money that can be made. A lot of that's going to depend on your business model. Okay. I get into a little bit more of that on treetutor.com. I mentor people in the tree business. You know, do you want to buy all the equipment? You know, do you want to just buy one major piece of equipment, like a, you know, 80-foot man lift, so you don't have to have a climber? Do you want to sub everything out? Right now, I'm kind of in the retirement phase. I've had everything. Okay, you name it, I've had it. But now I operate on my truck with chainsaws and a climber. I make some good money at it. But I make about 25% less than if I have all the equipment. But I've traded that for time. Okay, in 2 or 3 hours, I can put, you know, 2 days worth of brush on the ground for my subs, and I'm back at the house, and you know, just pick up the check later. So I've traded out, you know, 25% more money for time. I've heard guys say that you need to work for 3 years with another tree company, learn the ropes, learn the business, a lot to know, and you know, they're right. That would be the best possible scenario. But who wants to wait 3 years to start a business when you can make money at it now? Okay, it's a business that doesn't cost much to get into, and you can make money right away at it. But I do want to give you an idea of what kind of money you can make in this business. Now keep in mind that this is time on the job. Okay, this is when I show up, the door opens, we get out, start work, the door closes. This isn't travel time between jobs. A couple of these jobs I had to drive. I worked in little towns, and by the way, the big cities are completely different than the little towns. I've worked in both. They're two different animals. Big cities, you're not going to have any travel time between jobs. This is what I'm going to tell you is the time that I'm on the job. Okay, 50, had 300 tied up in a climber, 150 tied up into a man just using the saw on the ground. I had $1,000 tied up in a big knuckle boom, and he had a couple men on the job. I had $1,450 in expenses. My profit was $1,400. I was there 5 hours the first day, 7 hours the second day. And on these big jobs, I do get stuck on the job, you know, sometimes all day long on a big job. Smaller jobs I don't, but I made a little over $115 an hour on that job. A little over 115 bucks an hour. Now that's not really good money in the tree business, I'll tell you that right now. The second job here is trim around the house. I had a total of $675, $100 tied up in a climber, $200 tied up in a hauler, for a total of $300 in expenses. I had a profit of $375. That was 2 hours. Took me to do that job, so that was a little over $185 an hour. This job here, I took down a tall, skinny oak for $750. I had $100 tied up in a climber, $120 tied up in hauling. My profit margin was $530. I did that in 1 hour. Okay. So this was a triple trunk gum and a second gum tree. I had 300 in a climber, 300 in just separate men. That just haul brush. They don't handle any equipment, they just drag brush. We just pile this brush up. Had one man running a chainsaw, total of $700 in expenses on a $24.75 total job, which is a profit of $17.75. So I got that job done in 8 hours. So that was a little over $2.20 an hour. Okay, this job here, I had a gum in the backyard, an oak in the front yard. Total was $1,050. Had 200 tied up in a climber, 250 in a hauler for a total of $450. Profit of $600 for 2 hours. That's $300 an hour. This job right here, pecan tree and 6 hardwoods for $41.50. A knuckle boom I had for $1,000. Cut man on the ground for $200. A climber for $300. A total of $1,500. I had a profit margin of $26.50. The first day I was there for 3.5 hours. Second day I was there for 6 hours. That's a total of 9.5 hours at $275 per hour. Okay, now keep in mind this is the time I'm on the job. I leave it over to my subs, and they're going to be taking a lot longer to do it, but I just pay them just a set price. You'd be hard pressed to find a business which you can make more money at, that's cheap to get into, that you can start making money right now. And I get into this more in my website, treetutor.com. I mentor men in starting up tree businesses. But it's a good business. It's a money-making business, but it is dangerous. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.